Hey guys, really quickly, just wanted to say before we get into this video that I'm running 2 sales for the school. The first is 30% off of subscriptions yearly and monthly. And this is the online school that you can see as I'm talking here, these projects running by the screen. In-depth projects on carving the realistic face and much more, 80 plus project videos and 3 being added per month in the beginner, intermediate, and advanced realm. Outside of that, I have gift cards that you can give if you have a difficult family member that you're trying to give a gift to who's into carving. Give them the gift of carving by giving them a gift card, and it's 30% off during Black Friday through Cyber Monday, starting on Wednesday, the 27th, until the end of whatever Cyber Monday ends on. So that's that. All right, enjoy the video. All right, so every year I do a new Santa, and this year is no exception to that, and I have already done one. This is a no-seam version of Santa. It's very simple. The hat is covering the eyes, so you'd have less to worry about. Not as hard to carve. But I also wanted to do a carving where you could see the eyes, and this is a good kind of beginner version of a project that I think all of you will have success with. Let me see if I can get it in the light. There it is. How fun is that? Pretty simple, straightforward. You know, it's not ultra realistic, but that's good because it's a knife-only project and it's made for beginners. All you need is a knife and a piece of 1x1 basswood cut to 3 inches in length, cut diagonally. Let's get into it. Hey folks, welcome to another project. So today I'm going to be starting with a 1x1 piece of basswood cut diagonally. Some of you might have a hard time with that, but really it's super simple. Just get yourself a coping saw, get yourself any sort of small hand saw, or if you have a bandsaw or a table saw, you can use all of the above to cut these on diagonal, or even if a little axe to split it down the middle. Now this is a 3-inch long piece of basswood, and the only tool that I'm using today is just a knife. Now 100%, bar none, recommend that everyone use a glove when doing this project. Now I also have a pencil and a ruler I'm going to make some markings with. The first marking is going to be a 1/4 inch from the top of the piece of wood, or 6 millimeters for those of you in not using the standard measurement that I'm using, American Standard. Let's see. Alright, now that's going to be all the material that we're cutting off, or we're rounding the hat over. So I can start there. I'm going to start by taking off some of these sharp corners so that it's easier to handle. Okay. There's that. Good. Now, as I said, I'm going to remove this material. I don't have to remove it all at once. I can start by cutting it down. This is actually a fairly hard piece of basswood. So it's got some good ability to hold detail, which is the optimistic way of looking at a hard piece of basswood. I switched my knife out for one that's already a little sharper, so I don't have to bother sharpening it. Okay, now I'm coming down, about 5, well let's see, let's come down about a 1/2 inch for now, and I'll measure that out and mark it with my knife, but a pencil works as well. And I'm going to make a little cut straight in, and then I'm going to cut down, extend that cut on either side, creating 3 planes here. Okay. With 3 stop cuts, like so. Coming in at a slight angle. You can see the angle that I'm approaching it at. And these 2 cuts should meet and cause the chip to fall out. Just like so. Alright, now once I've done that, I'm going to make a stop cut. Let me give you the exact measurement here, about 1.25 inches from the top of the piece. I'm going to make a little marking here again with the pencil. 1.25 inches, and then drop my ruler there. About 1.25 inches from the top of that cut. Let's see if that translates. Yeah, about 1.25 inches, good. Just fact checking myself here. So I'm going to make that line come down here. So 1.25 from the top. What is that in millimeters? That's a good question. I didn't have that one converted yet. I'll look just a moment. Oh, about 3 centimeters or so. And that's not an exact conversion, but that'll get you in the ballpark. Good news is, this isn't an exact science anyway. So I've made that stop cut. I'm going to make another stop cut, about 1/4 inch atop that one. And I'm coming in with it actually more of a V cut. And it's called a V cut. I know this is going to be shocking to you guys, because it's creating a V profile within the wood. So there you go. Okay, once I've done that, I'm going to come in and I'm going to round the top of the head a little bit more, remove that material, getting us closer to that marking that we initially made there. Very cool. Take a little bit more out of this corner. It's stabbing me. Ow. Stop stabbing me. Okay. Better. All right. Now I'm going to take this side cut that we made and make a little line connecting to another line on the top here. So we've got 2 lines that meet each other. Another V cut. Kind of creating a little bit of a square or a rectangle where this side area is, just like so. All right. Once I've done that, I'm going to take my line, my initial line, the first V-cut that we made in this project, and extend it down to meet this little square. Same over here. Extend that square down, make a stop cut to meet it. Easy peasy. Okay, now I'm going to come up, say about 1/4 inch with a stop cut. This is actually defining the brim of the hat. So I'm going to come along and follow that kind of slightly downward. Notice there's a slightly downward angle here. As I create these lines, it creates this, what is the hat brim. All right, I'm going to round off the area here above that line that we made. Bring it back. And I guess you might be able to see what's happening here. We're creating Santa's hat. Just like so. All right. Now that that's established, I'm going to create a line leading to the ball of Santa's hat, which is still the square of Santa's hat. This little frou-frou thing. Which, kudos to Santa for really pulling that off. I couldn't pull that off. And that's going to give us the hat, just like so. All right. Okay, next I'm going to start to bring down the area beneath the hat just a little bit. And also the hat just a slight bit as well. Kind of round it. And angle it back ever so slightly. That's looking good to me. Taking the corners out by reducing or softening those hard edges by just taking a little bit of material off of those corners, along with a stop cut around that brim to give us an anchor point to round to. Okay, there's that. We're in good shape with that. Now I'm going to come in about 5/8 of an inch from the brim of the hat, or sorry, 5/16 I meant to say, which is about 8 millimeters for those of you metric people. 5/16, let me just mark that here in the center. There's my 5/16 mark. I'm also going to make a marking about, say, 1/8 of an inch, or even less, let's say 1/16 of an inch. 1/16 of an inch from the brim. So the first cut I'm going to make is along that first, or that 1/16 inch mark, the one that's closer to the brim of the hat. So I'm coming along like so, and establishing this channel, this cut that cuts across kind of widely. And once I've done that, I'm going to come off at an angle, slightly downward tilted angle on both sides, just like that. So really it's kind of 3 stop cuts all in line with one another at different angles. So we've got the center one here, and then we've got 2 that come off at an angle aside it. And that's going to give us the brow ridge. Okay. Now that other marking that we made, the 5/8 inch marking, we're going to carve. I'm going to make the cut like so. Stop cut like that underneath. So the stop cut comes underneath the nose, slightly angled downward, and then the relief cut comes underneath to meet that cut. And in the same way we created 3 cuts there, I'm going to make another cut, but this one's going to come up instead of down. So this cut comes up like so, this V cut. Kind of extending the stop cut that we made beneath what will soon be the nose, but going upward instead of downward. And that gives us that, okay? You can see that pretty clearly. I'm going to round, or take a little bit off of the edges of his hat here. Beautiful. I'm going to clean these cuts up a bit. And what we've done here is we've started to create the brow ridge and the mustache. Now, it's a little rough and a little bit difficult to see where we're headed here, but this is the main structure of the nose and brow ridge. I'm going to take a little bit more out of this forehead because it looks like we had a chip come out. Clean it up. There we go. Very good. Okay, so now I'm going to come underneath just about 1/4 of an inch beneath this line of the nose, the bottom of the nose, and make another stop cut. And this is going to be the mustache area. Okay, so we can bring this across and slightly tilt it upward because his mustache is a fun mustache that kind of curls up. So we can do that. And then we can create a little V right in the middle there, a little V cut. To really show that that's the mustache. And we can extend that V cut up into the top area as well to see the separation of the 2 bars of the mustache as they come up. And that's fun because it makes him look like he's got a little handlebar mustache, right? Okay, then I'm going to take my knife on the inside corner of the gouge, or the inside corner of the nose, and I'm going to make a scoop cut and a stop cut right along the eye. So I'm going to make a little cut along the bridge of the nose, right at the top of the brow ridge, like so, coming in, and then I'm going to make a cut that scoops underneath on either side of the nose to really define the nose. Same thing here. See that? So a little scoop cut in that inside corner, and just like that. Beautiful. Okay, and these little scoop cuts again are kind of defining the side of the nose. So we don't have to get too fancy with this. Just remember a little stop cut along the bridge, the eye bridge, or the eye bridge, what am I saying? The brow ridge, and then a little scoop cut along the side. So I'm turning the blade as I'm moving it through, anchoring the tip of the blade in this inside corner, just like so. So the tip is not leaving the inside corner at all, and I'm just scooping up, making a little stop cut in. Okay, and I can go back over this cut a few times to really get that corner deep. I'm going to make a stop cut. And this is called a triangle cut at the outside of the nose to make that nose stand out. So I'll show that again here, a little bit more slowly. So I'm coming along the edge of the nose, coming straight in to the side of the nose. A little cut going towards it, but in the opposite direction, perpendicular to it. And then one underneath, connecting the 2 cuts that we just made. And just like that, a little tiny chip comes out, and that really defines the side of the nose. So I'll do that again just to make it a little bit deeper. One straight in, you can see the knife in relationship to the piece of wood. Then one perpendicular, the opposite direction, coming down and in. And then this one up and in to create that little triangle cut. And again, to define the separation of the nostril and the cheek area. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of the bottom of the nostril out to angle it upward. So there's a little bit of a V profile to the bottom of the nose. And I'm just going to reiterate these cuts that I mentioned before that I was going to be making along the sides of the nose. Okay. There you go. And just like that, we've got the little simple outline of a face here in a few easy steps. All right, so the next thing I want to do is start to take the edges of the block off towards the base. So I'm really just trying to round the edges and make sure that this is not too square and blocky. And I want to add some curve and texture. I'm going to add a little scoop cut here to the bottom of the beard by coming in with the blade and turning the blade up as I move through. Notice the scooping motion here. And then I'll break up the edges with a couple of scoop cuts or V cuts, coming in with a V cut at the base like so, meeting that cut. Just breaking up the monotony of that perfect line. A lot of times you see beginner carvers making perfectly symmetrical round bottom to the beard, and you know, that's cool and all, but there's a little bit of break in those round shapes if you look at them closely. So just try to emulate that, try to create a little break in the beard. Okay, so one thing you can do to make him look a little bit happier is take a little bit of the angle off of the ridge of the brow. Soften that angle a bit, and that'll make him look a little bit happier, like his eyebrows are raised. Just like that. There we are. That's pretty good. I'm going to take a little bit more off of the brim of the hat because it looks a little proud to me. So I'm a little bit too, just like I said, a little too proud. And we may have to go back in and re-establish the bridge or the brim of the hat a little bit with a little stop and relief cut to that point, like so. But there you go. There you have it. So we're in pretty good shape here. You can add a little scoopage, some subtle soft scoops in the areas that look a little flat to add some dimension and character. I'm going to do that with my knife here. Oh, and she's a beauty. Look at that. Look at the fangs on that one. I don't know. I'm not going to try to do that accent. A little cleaning up around the mustache. Making a stop and relief cut along the mustache. Same thing on this side. Stop and relief cut. If the chip doesn't fall out, it might just need a little assistance. Okay. Well, we're very close to being done with this, guys. Believe it or not. I hope you enjoyed carving this with me. Again, it's super duper uber simple. You could definitely add, more detail to this and a little paint. In fact, I may just add some paint in this video, so stay tuned for just a moment. Anyway, taking the flatness out, raising the mustache by coming underneath the mustache with the little stop cut, or actually a V cut. So like so. Little V cut going in with the knife, and then the opposite, equal but opposite direction to get that mustache curved upward. And I think that's pretty fun. It's kind of different and cute. And you can make a little groove here along the side of the hat to indicate where the hat's folded over. And just spend a little time cleaning up your cuts here, making things right. But overall, we're in a pretty good spot with this super duper simple Santa. I hope you enjoy making this at home. And let's get to the painting process. Oh, one little thing. You could do a little nostril. I like to take my knife and just come underneath the nostril like so. And if you have a toothbrush, go ahead and use that toothbrush to, or even a dental brush, to come in and clean these fuzzies out. I'm going to take a little scoop cut out of this area here because it looks a little bit flat and a little bit boring. So just like that. Coming in, taking a little material, just kind of avoiding the flat surfaces if possible. Okay. Oh, what the hey. Let's just do the eyes, huh? How about it? To carve these happy eyes, I'm just going to make a squint. So I'm going to create a little line that comes along here. And he's so happy that his eyes are just kind of peering out of a squint. Just like so. So same thing here. A little curve, little bit of a downward curve. Seems counterintuitive because it looks like a frown, but that's what we want to get this looking happy. And a little V channel, a little V cut out of there. And just go back and forth over those cuts until the piece comes out. I'm going to fix that. Looks like we got a little bit aggressive there with that angle, a little too high. So I'll try to match that by raising this one up a little bit. Take a little bit out of the corners of the eyes to really emphasize the smile. Okay. Raise this side up a little bit to get some symmetry in there. Okay, so I cheated that line down a little bit off camera. It's not totally perfectly symmetrical, but that's okay. Not everyone's eyes are. Mine aren't. So I'm going to come along here, soften the brim of the hat, and I think we're pretty well close to getting ready to paint. So let's go ahead. You can take a little touch of sandpaper, like I said, to clean this up, or take a brush in here to get rid of the chips. But let's take it to sandpaper. Let's take it to paint is what I meant to say. Alright, so to start this painting process, really simply, going to use a touch of red and a touch of white, and this is kind of a deeper, darker red. I'm not sure of the exact color because these paint containers come unlabeled, but any red will do really, as long as it's within reason and looks decent. I'm going to start with the red, and I'm just going to get a little bit on the brush. I'm going to dab off the excess, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit the high points. This is called dry brushing, and I'm not trying to paint the whole thing. I'm just trying to kind of lightly highlight what I want to highlight, getting a little bit of paint on the bristles, and then just dragging it across the high points, really emphasizing the high points, and just having some fun with the real simple, understated colors. And you know, we can work a little bit into the facets as well. But the idea here is to do things in such a way to where you can still see the grain and it still feels natural. So this is not true, what you'd say, true proper dry brushing, in that I'm working it into the crooks and crannies as well. I'm not just hitting the high points, but I am going to kind of emphasize the high points. So once we've kind of got a little bit over the whole thing, you could add a little water to it as well, just to make it blend a little bit better. I should say before we paint, I've sealed the hat. It's good to use a sealant of any kind. It can be oil-based or water-based. Just make sure that it's nice and dry before you start painting. Okay, so we've hit that. I'm going to grab a little bit more paint and just touch the high points, just to add some dimension to this hat, make it a little more interesting, and then dab off the excess. Okay, to me that looks pretty good. Alright, I'm going to clean my brush off and my water, which I have just off to the side here. I'll bring it into frame. Got my towel nearby. I'm going to take some white, add a teeny tiny bit of water, do the same sort of a thing where I'm adding a light kind of base coat, kind of dry brushing that on, although it's not so dry at this point, so take some of the excess off with a towel and just get that hat covered. And if we miss and end up bumping the hat like we just did, the wrong part, it's not the end of the world. You can just wipe it off, and you can always go back over it with paint. Okay. I'll add a little white to the mustache. The ball of his hat. The important thing here is I'm not just globbing on tons of paint, and if I do accidentally, I'm removing the excess. Getting a little bit of bleed through of that red. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more pigment, a little bit more white. Okay, and the same thing here, just a real light wash of white as kind of a base tone. You can add water if you like, or just use the dry brush to just kind of work it in. Thin, light coating so that you can still see the grain beneath. And then once again, we'll go over the whole thing, or the high points with the dry brush. A little bit less paint, but just hitting those high points to add a little dimension to our Santa. Okay, I'm going to blot off the excess paint here. Once again, then grab our brush. Important here that you dry it off. For dry brushing, of course, the term here is dry, and it's used for a reason. So I'm going to take the paint, I'm going to get the bristles full of paint, and I'm going to dab off the excess, use a towel, and then I'm going to hit the high points, going over the brim of the hat, just like so, which is a nice effect, and then the mustache. And the beard. And full credit here, Doug Linker was the one to show me how to do this on a FaceTime call a few weeks ago, and it's been fun to play with. I've done it a few times on a wood spirit or two, and I love the effect. It kind of adds character to the carving. And of course, obviously Doug has some amazing content in the realm of whittling like this and carving in general, so check his channel out if you haven't. Okay, so I'm just going over it from side to side, hitting those high points. And again, that's kind of giving it a very soft, kind of almost an antiqued feel, because it's not too intense, you know? It's just kind of hitting the high points. And I'm going to work it into the hair along the sides of the face. And that's that, guys. You can even touch the eyebrows, even though we didn't carve the eyebrows. You can just pretend they're there and get a little touch of white on those eyebrows, or the eyebrow area, just like that. And there it is. How fun. Super ridiculously simple. This is the simplest one I've done yet. I've done one before that was probably a little bit more challenging than this one yet, but just a variation, just a different way of carving a Santa. Hope you guys enjoyed, and God bless. Take your vitamins. Oh, and check out the sale if you've followed along this far and it's still within the realm of Black Friday. Check that out, 30% off. But anyway, thanks for watching.